There's a country club with manicured shrubs, an 18-hole plantation. By the well-trimmed lawns was a little wee pond, a hazardous location, and in that water were balls and putters and other esoterica. Afloat in the middle was a water beetle, I think her name was Erica, with me to rye, fall the diddle da, to rye, fall the diddle larry-o. Well, the chemicals sprayed on the green fairways had made the pond quite sterile. There wasn't much grub for a little wee bug, her life it was in peril. It was hard to cope, but she kept up hope, though prospects they were dimming. But forever she followed the water beetle motto, to always just keep swimming. With me to rye, fall the diddle da, to rye, fall the diddle larry-o. So Erica swam and scavenged each day to stave off her starvation, when out of the fog came an old bullfrog that promised her salvation. He was croaking loud, he came with the crowd, their fanaticism shocked her. Oh, he was absurd, he tweeted like a bird and traveled by helicopter. With me to rye, fall the diddle da, to rye, fall the diddle larry-o. Well, his mouth was foul and he wore a scowl as he listed problems various, citing flies and fleas and Mexican bees for motives most nefarious. Yes, he cursed those bugs and he called them thugs and other words that hurt still. Says he, I'll make old Erica great, just ask my friend the turtle. With me to rye, fall the diddle da, to rye, fall the diddle larry-o. From my hatchling days through my larval stage, my mother's always saying that frogs that jump in yonder swamp on beetles they are preying. But the frog was vocal that he was not local, a maverick outsider. That swamp I'll drain with my very large brain, of winning you will get tireder. With me to rye, fall the diddle da, to rye, fall the diddle larry-o. Well, none of that was true, in fact he was a loudmouthed dimwit, but hunger pangs did cloud her brains, and she fell for all that bull frog's lies. It was all a hoax, but his coaxing croaks had drawn her close to inspect. But that fimming amphibian opened his mouth and swallowed that innocent insect. With me to rye, fall the diddle da, to rye, fall the diddle larry-o. Well, she'd been tricked and she was licked and shortly after swallowed. But hear me out as I recount the miracle that followed. For she swam through bile for what seemed like miles. She was defiled and pummeled, but our brave little swimmer still caught a glimmer of the light at the end of the tunnel. With me to rye, fall the diddle da, to rye, fall the diddle larry-o. So on she swims, all 6 of her limbs compelled by desperation, with her compound eyes upon the prize of sweet evacuation. There was plague and plaque and old Big Macs, it was a hideous landscape, but she rounded the bend to the frog's rear end and made her glorious escape. With me to rye, fall the diddle da, to rye, fall the diddle larry-o. 'Twas a great fiasco, escaping that rascal, and we hope she won't relive it. Though she made it through, they formed a queue to take up his righteous ribbit. and the poison pond is far from gone. The state of things has soured, but as long as we have limbs to swim, we'll never be devoured. With me to rye, fall the diddle, to rye, fall the diddle.